Imagine this: you're surrounded by people chasing success. Some play fair, work hard, and stick to their principles. Others, they lie, manipulate, and crush anyone who gets in their way. And yet, when you look at who's really at the top, who's writing the rules and owning the world, it's not the fair players. It's the ruthless, the unapologetic, the ones who never hesitate. Why does the world seem built to favor those who throw morality out the window? History shouts the answer at you: Caesars, emperors, warlords, billionaires. The pattern repeats itself. The most ruthless rise to power. But this isn't some accident or glitch in the system. No, it is the system. To understand why, we need to step into the mind of Friedrich Nietzsche and face one of the most unsettling truths about human nature. Power isn't a reward for being good. It's a prize for those who take it. We're taught a comforting lie that success comes from hard work, talent, and moral integrity. But history, business, and politics tell a much darker, more honest story. Power doesn't reward those who deserve it. It rewards those who take it. The world isn't designed to uplift the virtuous. It's built to serve those who understand how it works and exploit it without hesitation. Success isn't about fairness. It's about control, strategy, and the willingness to do what others won't. Take politics, for example. Why do corrupt politicians thrive? Because they know the game better than their honest counterparts. Politics isn't about justice, it's about influence. A leader who tells people what they want to hear manipulates the system to keep authority, and silences opposition will always rise higher than the one who sticks to integrity at the cost of power. Morality. It's a weakness when your goal is domination. History proves this. The most powerful rulers weren't the most ethical, were the most strategic. They made promises they never intended to keep, and built alliances only to break them when it suited their goals. They understood power isn't given, it's taken. Look at business. Why do ruthless CEOs dominate industries? Because business is war, not charity. A CEO who puts fairness over efficiency, loyalty over results, or ethics over expansion will be crushed by competitors who make the hard choices they won't. Companies that survive cut jobs when necessary, even if it devastates thousands. Leaders who rise eliminate competition, not make peace with it. Thriving industries are built on calculated exploitation of labor, markets, resources. It's uncomfortable, but it's true. The economy doesn't reward kindness, it rewards dominance. And history's greatest rulers, they often have dark pasts, because greatness and ruthlessness frequently go hand in hand. Alexander the Great didn't conquer through diplomacy alone. He burned cities to the ground. Julius Caesar didn't rise through honor. He betrayed the Senate. Napoleon didn't build an empire by following rules. He rewrote them in his favor. Power isn't about kindness, it's about control. The rulers who left a mark on history understood this simple fact. A leader must be feared before they are loved. Fairness, it's an illusion, a tool to keep the weak in line. Society tells us to be fair, to play by the rules, to believe good people will eventually win. But who created these rules? The very people who benefit from them. Workers are told to stay loyal while corporations cut them the moment they become unprofitable. Citizens are taught to obey laws while the elite bend them to their advantage. The masses believe in justice, while those in power manipulate the legal system to protect themselves. Fairness isn't a universal law. It's a narrative designed to maintain control. The real world belongs to those who see this truth and act accordingly. Power isn't about deserving it, it's about seizing it. Friedrich Nietzsche didn't just question morality, he exposed it as a deception. In his groundbreaking work Beyond Good and Evil, he argued morality isn't an objective truth, but a tool, a carefully crafted illusion used by the weak to shame, control, and restrain the strong. What we call good and evil aren't universal laws, they're social constructs, created to serve different groups' interests. The weak, unable to seize power themselves, create moral systems that demonize strength and ambition, while glorifying submission and meekness. The strong, however, see morality for what it is, a cage designed to limit those who could otherwise rule. At the heart of Nietzsche's philosophy is the will to power, the fundamental force that drives all life. According to him, humans don't seek happiness, peace, or survival as their highest goal. Instead, they crave power, the ability to impose their will on the world, and shape reality according to their vision. Power isn't just political or physical, it's psychological, intellectual, and creative. The greatest minds in history, philosophers, artists, warriors, rulers weren't passive seekers of truth or justice. They were conquerors of reality, bending society, culture, and even morality to their will. The will to power isn't about cruelty for cruelty's sake. It's about overcoming limitations, refusing to be bound by weak moralities, and forging your own path. Those who embrace it shape history. Those who deny it become footnotes. Nietzsche saw the world divided into two moralities: master morality, the morality of the strong. It values strength, ambition, and self-overcoming. It's the mindset of leaders, warriors, and creators, those who don't seek approval but take what they want. The strong define their own morality based on excellence, dominance, and the pursuit of greatness. Slave morality, the morality of the weak. It values submission, obedience, and victimhood. It's the mindset of the ruled, who are unable to rise above their conditions, create moral systems glorifying suffering, humility, and weakness. Instead of striving for power, they resent those who have it and demonize those who achieve it. Slave morality preaches virtues like kindness, patience, and humility, not because they're truly noble, but because they keep the weak from rebelling against their position. The masses are taught to believe strength is evil, ambition is selfish, and power is corrupt, ensuring only a few dare to claim it. The reality, morality is a choice, not a law. The question Nietzsche forces us to confront is this: will you live by the morality imposed on you, or will you create your own? If you cling to traditional morality, you'll remain powerless, trapped in a system designed to keep you weak. But if you reject it and forge your own path, you become the architect of your own destiny. History doesn't remember the obedient. It remembers those who rise above the herd. So, what exactly is this will to power Nietzsche talks about? It's more than just a catchy phrase. It's the core force behind everything we do, the engine driving all life. Nietzsche saw it as the fundamental drive in humans, even more basic than the will to survive or to seek pleasure. It's the urge to assert yourself, to impose your vision on the world, and to constantly overcome obstacles, not just external ones, but also the limits within yourself. Think of it this way: the will to power isn't just about grabbing power over others. It's about self-mastery, creativity, and shaping reality according to your own vision. It's the force behind artists creating masterpieces, philosophers challenging old ideas, entrepreneurs building empires, and warriors conquering lands. Nietzsche even distinguished between two kinds of power: Kraft, strength, or Force, matched power that's consciously directed and refined, the kind that comes from self-overcoming and creative expression. The will to power is about channeling your raw energy into something greater, something that shapes the world around you. It's important to understand that Nietzsche didn't see the will to power as inherently good or bad. It's a neutral force, like electricity. How it's used depends on the individual. Some channel it into noble, life-affirming creativity. Others use it to dominate and destroy. But either way, it's the underlying drive behind all human action. At its core, the will to power is about change and flux. Nietzsche believed that nothing in the world is fixed or permanent. Everything is in constant motion: ideas, values, societies, even our own identities. The will to power is the force pushing this constant change, the struggle of competing wills trying to impose their vision on reality. This means that the self or ego isn't some fixed thing inside us. Instead, it's a chaotic mix of competing drives and desires, all vying for dominance. The will to power is the force behind this internal struggle, pushing us to grow, to overcome, and to transform ourselves. Now, Nietzsche also connected this idea to his famous distinction between master morality and slave morality. Master morality comes from those who embrace the will to power openly. They create their own values based on strength, ambition, and excellence. Slave morality, on the other hand, comes from those who feel powerless. They create moral systems that praise weakness, humility, and submission because it helps them cope with their own lack of power. Slave morality demonizes strength and ambition, labeling them as evil or selfish. It praises virtues like kindness and patience, not necessarily because they're inherently good, but because they keep the weak from rising up and challenging the status quo. It's a way to control and suppress the strong by making them feel guilty or wrong for their power. This is why society often tells us that being nice and fair will get us ahead. It's a narrative designed to keep most people in their place. The truth Nietzsche exposes is that power belongs to those who understand and embrace the will to power, not those who blindly follow imposed moral rules. So, what does this mean for you? It means that if you want to succeed, you have to stop believing the comforting lie that good behavior alone will get you there. Success follows psychological laws patterns that reward ambition, decisiveness, fearlessness, and strategic ruthlessness. If you cling to traditional morality, you'll stay powerless, trapped in a system designed to keep you weak. But if you reject it and forge your own path, if you embrace the will to power, you become the architect of your own destiny. Remember, history doesn't remember the obedient or the meek. It remembers those who rise above the herd, who take what they want, and who refuse to be bound by weak moralities. Are you ready to step into that mindset? To understand the real rules of power and play the game on your terms? Let's dive deeper into Nietzsche's concept of the will to power, because it's central to understanding the real dynamics behind success and influence. Nietzsche never gave a single, neat definition of the will to power. It's a complex, evolving idea he explored across many writings, but at its core, it's the fundamental drive behind all life, especially human life. The will to power isn't just about raw strength or domination over others. It's really about self-determination, the urge to impose your own will on yourself and your surroundings, to shape reality according to your vision. Nietzsche saw it as far more than just survival or reproduction, which earlier philosophers like Schopenhauer focused on. Instead, it's a creative force, pushing us to grow, overcome challenges, and become something greater. Nietzsche made an important distinction between two types of power: craft and matched. Craft means raw strength or force something any living thing can have, but matched is power that's consciously directed, refined, and sublimated power that comes from self-overcoming and creativity. The will to power is about channeling that raw energy into something meaningful, something that shapes the world. This is why Nietzsche's idea isn't just about military conquest or political domination, though it includes those things. It's also about psychological, intellectual, and creative power. The greatest thinkers, artists, and leaders in history weren't just passive seekers of truth or justice. They were conquerors of reality, bending culture, society, and even morality to their will. Nietzsche also pointed out that the will to power shows up in how we create values and judge the world. When we create moral systems or cultural norms, we're exercising the will to power by imposing our vision of what's right and wrong. This means morality itself isn't fixed or universal. It's a product of competing wills trying to assert dominance. Interestingly, Nietzsche argued that cruelty or outright domination isn't always the best or most effective way to exercise power. For example, in The Gay Science, he suggested that making others indebted to you, helping them in a way that creates loyalties, often a more powerful expression of the will to power than simply hurting or crushing them. Kindness, when used strategically, can be a tool of power. But at the same time, Nietzsche warned that kindness can also be a mask for weakness if it's just blind morality. The powerful know when to be ruthless and when to be kind. They don't let emotions cloud their judgment. Strategic ruthlessness means doing what's necessary even if it's uncomfortable to achieve your goals. The will to power also explains why so many people fear change or risk. Fear keeps the weak stuck, hesitant to act. The strong see fear as a signal. If something scares you, it's often worth pursuing because it means you're pushing your limits and growing your power. Nietzsche's philosophy also challenges the popular idea that morality is objective or universal. Instead, he showed how master morality and slave morality reflect different power dynamics. Master morality comes from those who embrace the will to power. They create their own values based on strength, excellence, and ambition. Slave morality, on the other hand, arises from those who feel powerless. They create moral systems that praise submission, humility, and victimhood because it helps them cope with their weakness. This explains why society often tells us that being nice and fair will get us ahead. It's a narrative designed to keep most people in their place. The truth is, power belongs to those who understand and embrace the will to power, not those who blindly follow imposed moral rules. So, when you think about success, it's not just about working hard or being talented. It's about mastering these psychological forces: the ambition, decisiveness, fearlessness, and strategic ruthlessness that Nietzsche describes. These are the real traits that separate winners from the rest. If you want to rise, you have to stop believing the comforting lie that good behavior alone will get you there. Instead, learn to see power for what it is, a neutral force that can be used to build or destroy, depending on who wields it. The question is, will you live by the moralities imposed on you, or will you create your own? Will you accept the system as it is, or will you learn to play its real game? History doesn't remember the obedient. It remembers those who rise above the herd, who take what they want, and who refuse to be bound by weak moralities. Now, let's talk about the psychological traits that actually drive success. Because when you strip away all the myths and sugarcoating, what really separates those who rise to power from those who don't is a specific mindset, a set of qualities that enable people to seize and hold power. First up, ambition. This is the relentless hunger to rise, to achieve more, to never settle. Ambition isn't just a vague desire to do better, it's an obsession. It's that fire inside that refuses to be satisfied with mediocrity. Ordinary people often settle, accepting their circumstances and making peace with the status quo. But the ambitious, they see every obstacle as a challenge, every setback as fuel for their drive. They don't just dream, they obsess over victory. Look at history's greatest rulers, CEOs, and visionaries. None of them were content with the way things were. They wanted more, and they took it. Ambition is the foundation of power. Next is decisiveness. In the world of power, hesitation is death. The weak hesitate, overthink, and second-guess themselves. The strong act fast and with confidence. Leaders don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. Indecision lets opportunities slip away, paralyzed by fear of failure or rejection. Winners take risks, while others are still debating. But being decisive doesn't mean being reckless. It means trusting your instincts, committing to a path, and adjusting as you go. The powerful understand that risk is the price of victory. Fear keeps the weak in place. They fear change, standing out, the unknown. The powerful see fear as a compass. If something scares you, it's probably worth pursuing. Then there's strategic ruthlessness. This is knowing when to play by the rules and when to break them. The world preaches fairness, but those who rise to power understand a brutal truth. Rules only matter if you believe in them. The powerful analyze the rules, use them when it benefits them, and break them when it is strategic. Ruthlessness isn't about cruelty for cruelty's sake. It's about being effective, removing emotion from decisions, cutting off what holds you back, and doing what must be done, even if it's uncomfortable. It's about knowing when kindness is a weapon and when it's a weakness. Look at leaders like Julius Caesar or Machiavelli's ideal prince. They didn't destroy everyone in their path. They built alliances, manipulated systems, and used kindness and fear as tools. Great leaders don't just crush their enemies, they create loyal followers. The fourth trait is adaptability. History teaches us that those who fail to evolve are doomed to fall. Empires collapse when they refuse to adapt to new enemies. Businesses crumble when they ignore innovation. Leaders fall when they get too comfortable. The true masters of power know that rigidity is death. Evolution is survival. If you want lasting success, you must be willing to change, grow, and shift your approach when needed. The strongest aren't always the most ruthless, they're the ones who learn, adapt, and endure. Now, let's address a common misconception. Power doesn't have to corrupt. Success doesn't have to destroy. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and conquerors understood that true strength lies in mastering both ruthlessness and morality. Will you be a pawn of the system, blindly following its rules? Will you be a brute who rises only to fall? Or will you take the third path without corruption? The world doesn't operate on fairness. It doesn't reward morality, nor does it punish evil. It rewards strength, those who understand how power really works, who are strategic, ambitious, and fearless enough to take what they want. Most people live in an illusion, believing hard work and virtue alone will bring success. But history tells a different story. Those who rise to the top aren't necessarily the smartest or the kindest. They're the ones who understand the game and play it better than anyone else. Power belongs to those who see reality for what it is, not for what they wish it to be. Power itself isn't good or bad. It's a tool, a force of nature, a weapon that can build empires or destroy civilizations. In the hands of fools, it leads to chaos. In the hands of tyrants, it leads to suffering. In the hands of the wise, it shapes the world. If you want power, you have to be willing to embrace this truth. Success isn't given, it's taken. You must be ready to make hard decisions, step outside conventional morality, and claim your place in the world. But remember, power without control leads to downfall. Those who rise without understanding its dangers are doomed to be destroyed by their own arrogance. So, the real question is, will you master power, or will it master you? Before we wrap up, let's look at some examples from history in modern times that show both the power and the pitfalls of ruthlessness and ambition. Take Julius Caesar. He was one of the most brilliant and ambitious leaders ever. Ruthless in battle, cunning in politics, and charismatic enough to bend the Roman Republic to his will. But his downfall came because he became too powerful. The Senate saw him as a threat, and those who once stood by his side turned against him. In 44 BC, he was assassinated. His fate wasn't a coincidence, it was the consequence of unchecked ambition without enough control. Napoleon Bonaparte is another classic example. He reshaped Europe, turning France into a dominant empire. His military strategies were revolutionary, and his ambition knew no bounds. But power blinded him. He overextended his reach, invading Russia, despite warnings, underestimated his enemies. His confidence turned into arrogance, and his empire collapsed. From emperor to exile, Napoleon's story is a warning. Those who don't master their hunger for power eventually get consumed by it. In the modern world, the rise and fall of corporate giants follow the same pattern. Blockbuster dominated video rentals until it dismissed Netflix as insignificant. Kodak invented the digital camera, but refused to embrace it, fearing it would kill their film business. Tech giants grow arrogant, believing they're invincible until innovation leaves them behind. Power doesn't tolerate stagnation. Those who fail to adapt, evolve, and control their own hubris inevitably fall. The key lesson: master power or be destroyed by it. Ruthlessness alone isn't enough. It must be paired with self-awareness. Dominance isn't enough. It must be paired with wisdom. Success isn't enough. It must be sustained. The greatest mistake the powerful make is thinking they're untouchable. The moment they stop mastering power, power masters them. So what's the takeaway for you? 1. Reject naive morality. Goodness alone won't save you. Many are raised to believe that hard work, kindness, and virtue will lead to success. But history and reality prove otherwise. The world doesn't operate on fairness. 2. Embrace strength and develop the traits that matter. If you want power, build yourself into someone who commands it, not just through manipulation, but through genuine strength. Set ambitious goals that scare you. Own your path without seeking approval. When a decision is needed, make it confidently and without hesitation. People follow those who radiate power, not those who beg for it. 3. Stay strategic. Know when to be ruthless and when to build alliances. Power isn't just about crushing others. It's about timing, strategy, and creating loyal followers. Great leaders like Julius Caesar understood this. They didn't destroy everyone. They built alliances and used kindness and fear as tools for adapt and evolve. Change is survival. The strongest aren't always the most ruthless. They're the ones who learn, adapt, and endure. If you want lasting success, be ready to shift your approach when needed. 5. Master balance. Power doesn't have to corrupt. True strength is mastering both ruthlessness and morality. Will you be a pawn, a brute, or someone who rises with strength without corruption? The world rewards strength, those who understand how power works, who are strategic, ambitious, and fearless enough to take what they want. Most people live in an illusion, thinking virtue alone will bring success. But history shows us the truth. Power belongs to those who see reality clearly and act accordingly. Power is neither good nor evil. It's a tool. It can build or destroy. It can lead to chaos or shape the world for the better. If this message resonated with you, if you crave deeper insights into power, philosophy, and psychology, then subscribe to the channel. Challenge yourself to rise above, to become more like this video. Share it with those who need to hear the truth. And comment below. Is morality a weakness in today's world, or can true power exist without ruthlessness? Let's discuss. Remember, success isn't given, it's taken. Will you master power, or will it master you?